Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bike Talk with BikeLane. This is Bike Checks with Ed. I'm Ed, and this is the 2021 Giant Contend 3. It's actually a very nice bike. It's going to be your entry-level road bike that's full aluminum. So we're going to start off here in the front end. So Giant has given us here a 400 millimeter wide aluminum bar. So they gave you a pretty neutral stem also. It's a 90 mil reach stem with a 30-degree upsweep. So you can sit pretty upright on this guy. The width of the bar gives you kind of a neutral feel. It's not too wide, it's not too narrow, kind of right in the middle. So it's a kind of aggressive but kind of comfort bike as well at the same time. Giant gives you a full aluminum fork, which is Alex aluminum. So it's very lightweight, 7000 series aluminum, and it's stiff. Giant gives you the Giant SR3 wheels. They're loose ball bearing, radial spoke, but a double wall rim, which gives you a lot of rigidity and gives you a lot of strength. So especially riding in the city, it takes a lot of abuse. These rims can take it. To protect the rims, you do get a 700 by 28C tire, which is a little thicker than usual. Most road bikes will come with a 25C tire. A lot of people like 23s, less rolling resistance. But a 28 gives you a taller sidewall, gives you a lot more protection. This is also a dual layer tire, so it has double the material, and it's a 120 PSI tire. 120 PSI tire is a lot. So to run your tire at 120, you're gonna have almost no rolling resistance, but it's gonna be like riding on little stones. You're gonna feel every little crack and bump as you're riding in the street. I recommend riding at least at 100. We have the same tire in the back, same wheel in the back. In the back, you do get a cassette wheel. You get a Claris Drivetrain with an FSA crank. So Claris is 8-speed, and you have 8-speed shifter hoods. You have 8-speed rear derailleur, rear cassette. You get a Claris front derailleur, which is direct mount, and you have a double chainring for your FSA crank. So your FSA crank is a 170 millimeter long crank arm. It's aluminum, steel bottom bracket, aluminum steel chain rings. You have a 3450. So a 3450 is a big jump. So your 34 is going to be your granny gear, going to be your smallest ring on the front, and that's going to be for climbing or if you're just cruising around, depending on what gear you're using in the back. The big ring, the 50, is a really big jump. So it's really when you want to get some speed, you use your 50, and then you can use your 8-speed spread on the back. On the back, you also get a very interesting spread, which is an 1134. 11 is the smallest one on here, and an 1150, that combo, there's no stopping you if you can push it. That's going to be very fast. And the 34 is great for climbing. So it's a pretty big ring for a road bike. So if you're cruising around the city and you have a lot of hills, a lot of obstacles coming up, 1134 is a very nice gear ratio to be on. You get Tetra rim pads, rim brakes, and they're rubber brake pads. They're the B177s. So they're pretty decent. They're entry-level brakes, nothing too fancy. Disc brakes are definitely a huge plus if you're riding around the city, which Giant does make the Contend 8R disc, and that guy's a really interesting bike because it comes with through axles, but we'll go over that next time. The frame is also Alex aluminum. The frame geometry is very interesting. So on here, this is a small. The small has a 20.9 inch top tube, which is a pretty tight top tube. So the geometry is nice and snug on this bike. So it's kind of it's a steep head angle, so you can kind of relax a little bit, but a tighter top tube gives it more of an aggressive feel. It also has a pretty, not tight, but kind of relaxed rear end. It's kind of right in the middle. So it's aggressive, but not aggressive. It's like the perfect commuter and kind of hardcore bike if you want to get out there and get crazy with it. Giant also gives you the diffuse seat post, which is very nice. On our last review on the Escape, we talked about the diffuse seat post, how it's flat in the back but round in the front. So there's no way that your seat post can ever pivot, and it also gives it more rigidity. You get on here a Giant saddle, which is actually a really nice saddle. Most of the bikes, they come with their specific saddles, so all their road bikes are going to come with a specific saddle, their comfort bikes come with a specific saddle. This guy is 270 millimeters long and 140 millimeters wide. It does have a nice cutout in it, ventilation and relief. So it's a pretty decent saddle. Not too much padding on it, but again, it's a road bike. You want it to be as light as possible, as sleek as possible. So this guy kind of gives you the best of both worlds, kind of comfort and aggressiveness if you want to do some entry-level racing and riding. And what else did we miss? We missed the bar wrap, give you core bar wrap. And don't forget about the reflectors for your safety. This has been the Giant Contend 3 2021. If you guys have any questions, please comment. And please don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Google, Yelp, and Facebook.